These are triads, each of C major. Yeah, that one. You can think of a triad as distilling a chord to its essence. In this case, C, E, G. Since we're guitar players, let's generalize these specific lettered notes into a framework that is easier to visualize and transpose for different chords and keys. Let's use the tones of the major scale. C is the root, the first note of the major scale in the key of C. E is the third, and G is the fifth. 1, 3, and 5 are the building blocks of a major chord, called a major triad when played together in a stacked position. The guitar is great for seeing patterns in movable shapes, and triads are the ultimate movable chords. Each can be played up or down the neck to create the same triad with a different root. Like this one, you probably recognize it as part of the D shape played in the open position. On each string set, each set of 3 consecutive strings, there are 3 possible ways to construct a major triad. These triad shapes are differentiated by the order of their notes, called inversions. When we build a triad with the root note as the lowest frequency note, the note played on the thickest string, we call it a root position triad. When the root is the highest frequency note, played on the thinnest string, this is said to be a first inversion triad. And when the root note is the middle frequency, the triad is said to be a second inversion triad. You can think of this like a stack of notes, 1, 3, 5, where each subsequent inversion is created by removing the lowest note and stacking it on top of the other 2, an octave above the original. This understanding can help you visualize connections on the fretboard by changing one note at a time without memorizing scale shapes or chords. Here, consider this first inversion triad. We can work backward up the string sets to connect these triads through each string. First to the root position, then to the second inversion, then to the first inversion, and back down the other way. I mentioned before that on each set of 3 consecutive strings, you can play the same triad in 3 different inversions, using 3 different shapes. We've seen these shapes now on the highest strings. Let's find the triad shapes on the next set of strings by using the inversion technique just covered. Here are the shapes on the next set of strings. On the next set of strings. And here are the 3 shapes on the next set. You may have noticed that the last 2 string sets have the same set of triad shapes. That's because the interval between each of the top 4 strings is the same. So across the 4 string sets, there are just 9 possible major triad shapes. Here they are all together. While we're at it, let's take a look at minor triads. A minor triad is constructed the same way as a major triad, except instead of the major third, we use the minor third. We get the minor third by flattening the major third by 1 semitone. Because minor triads are so similar to major triads, when we learn our 9 major triad shapes, we have also effectively learned our 9 minor triad shapes for free. Here they are all together. Many of these shapes are likely already familiar to you. They are components, building blocks. Once you have an eye for it and some muscle memory, you'll pick them out all over the place. Like this example, in the C major bar chord with root on the A string. Or the minor bar chord in the same position. Or this bar chord with root on the low E string. Triads are building blocks. They can be used to build larger chord shapes, linked together to form arpeggios, or modified to create other triads. There is a free PDF for this lesson. The link is in the description, and subscribe for more lessons designed to help you level up. I'll see you in the next one.